fellow citizens of Ambazonia. This is a message from the National Defense Council of Ambazonia. This message na for respond for a series of audio messages from General Kata on social media. The first message that was released by General Kata will be a message to appeal for fund collection for help, support, and build up the contender hold force. Una hear.
This is General Kata of the 7th Kata in Bafut. We call on everybody in the Bafut Fondom and those out of Bafut, both in Ambaland and worldwide. General Kata is pleading that everybody should support the fundraiser that is coming up for the contender force. This is our last hope.
The one na the initial message which General Kata be sent for outside for ask for donation towards the contender hold force. After this audio, another audio come out from General Kata for disclaim this audio and for dissociate themselves with the contender hold project. Wanna listen?
Yes, I'm Balana. Na me, General Kata. I did talk on behalf of this audio when they put them out because they know the fight war with social media. Everything when they put them for social media, that means it no be me because I know the fight war for social media. Now the first audio this way I will make them, and I don't want to make them again, and I didn't want the diaspora them. Say if they no get something done, me they stop for the make audio them. We no go there yet, people then go to say I did ask money for make for make a contender force. I know they ask money for make contender force. I never ask for support. I did disclaim that audio immediately because no be me. I make that audio.
After this audio be released by General Kata, following this, one of the social media activism for the Ambazonian struggle, Sikot, he go online for further expatiate for talk say ADF they make na propaganda about General Kata. General Kata no be send out any audio. Wanna listen?
Say na General 7 Kata from Bafut. Now you don't send them and you want make all man join for the contender on a companion forces. Make we see say Grand Zero strong. People be support and people be agree for the good idea. But now good idea where they bring them. But they forget say they use a name of a general where they for Grand Zero. It get the message and Bafut local government when they don't fund these generals them for their area. They be so disturbed. Say how General 7 Kata of all. We never ever hear General 7 Kata. So Bafut local government say, okay, if that is the case, we go stand behind small. Then we will see how the contender forces the go where you say we donate before we start donating our money. General Kata said no. He not getting no idea. He never give out information for nobody and he be so disturbed. I want to play the audio.
Well, fellow Ambazonians, would want send out this message for clarify to the general public about all the attacks towards the contender force and the misinformation and the sabotage. The National Defense Council then received these informations and the public inquiry regarding these audios with a lot of disturbance because General Kata nearly exist. General Kata na a code name wey be given for the National Defense Council for the representatives for the 7 Kata wey been a part of the coalition forces wey form the Ambazonians contender force. General Kata was part of the National Defense Council representative of the 7 Kata. Due to security reasons, the name of the general will be classified, but the code name General Kata na just the names who would use them as for the representative them for 7 Kata within the National Defense Forces. The fact that the general way there for Ground Zero use that name, say General Kata in that audio, be been a signal for we say it will be under duress. Due to that audio and that signal of distress, the National Defense Council immediately removed the said general for Ground Zero out of the National Defense Council. As we go see for screen shot here, we go see how it will be removed due to security reasons. We don't confirm them now positively say that was the case. The 7 Kata that always be part of the coalition forces them. We form the contender forces. As the member of the coalition forces of Ambazonia, the 7 Kata then benefit from their relationship with the coalition forces. Sticks and granite have been provided directly to the said general who is on ground zero as a result of their membership of the coalition forces. Just for help the general public for understand more, the coalition forces them na a group of forces them where they don't align together with the ADF for form a group, a network of sisterly relationship and unity between ground zero fighters them as equal partners in the war, both for share equipment, share intelligence, and for coordinate their fight against La République du Cameroon and La République du Cameroon alone. All the various Ambazonian defense forces them, where them be members of that coalition forces, each of them get 2 representatives them, where they represent them for the National Defense Council, when they jointly take decision on how to execute their joint projects and for create unity amongst themselves. The Contenderhood project na a joint project of the coalition forces them following the Dublin Declaration. The National Defense Council then adopt the Contenderhood as a project for replace all then guns with AK-47s and French granates. The Contenderhood project no be an ADF project, na a joint project. Funds the way them be raised for this project will be used exclusively to buy granates and sticks and shared equally amongst all the various forces within the Contenderhood. The memorandum of understanding that create these coalition forces is the base of our interaction with the various forces. All the forces in the coalition forces are equal. All the forces have the liberty to collaborate with other forces and still raise funds by themselves. The coalition forces not just a way for unite the forces them, no be any takeover or say any other forces don't go join for become one with another forces. All they see exists and they maintain their ID, but they cooperate like a brotherly relationship amongst themselves. Our forces them for ground zero don't go through failed and bad policies them with people they don't make false promises the way they never fulfill them. This one now a last attempt for make sure say all our forces them for ground zero then be properly equipped for defend themselves and for defend the local population and to fight to liberate our territory. This fundraising be very crucial because the team will be behind than deliver before and they go deliver again. Now the chance for we for already equip our people. If we really want freedom, we need to come behind this initiative and avoid all the propaganda to sabotage the initiative of the Contenderhood forces. Any other organization still get that right for still continue for support the group where they support them if genuinely they be the support them because the Wami Ambazonia be free, while allowing the Contenderhood to develop its way and its strategy to provide those boys with what they need and what it takes for them to liberate our territory. Would they urge the local government area where Sako be done create them, made and disease for try for sabotage this important national project. This no be a project for a particular group, now a project for the entire nation to equip our boys with the AK-47s where they need them for defend our territory. All this confrontation them be very counterproductive and manipulation from the diaspora actors and be very manipulative and they don't cause enough death for ground zero. Me then stop for begin put generals against generals. Ask generals to make audios for sabotage other generals them. They want no fine at all. The national forces them for Ambazonia, they didn't seek any confrontation with any forces the way they don't be set up for operate locally within the local government or you want call for village or whatever. We seek for cooperate and project a national outlook of our forces on ground zero. The contender forces forms the largest coalitions of the biggest forces on ground zero. The Ambazonia Defense Forces, the 7 Kata, the Amber Warriors, the Amber Gorillas, the British Southern Cameroon Resistance Forces, the SWAT of Ambazonia, the Tigers of Ambazonia. This is ground zero. After failed project, from failed project to failed project to failed and embezzlement of funds to embezzlement of funds, disappearance of generals, assassination of generals, this is the last hope for Ambazonia. We must have it and we must have it right. We are tired of all the attacks, all the roadblocks that is being placed on our way to equip our boys and give them what it takes to defeat the enemy. We must come together as a people and say no to this sabotage. We need to replace all the Dane guns with AK-47. Now or never. everybody of Ambazonia origin donate and replace the then guns with original sticks, AK-47, rocket prepared grenade. Be sure that all your donation will be managed by these same forces themselves. They have agents that can deliver, that has delivered. This is the most trusted team that is going to produce a ground changing effect on ground zero. Please, this is the last hope for Ambazonia. Forget about every propaganda and put Ambazonia first. Support the contenderhood forces with finances, and ground zero will change. Southern Cameroon will be liberated. Contenderhood is the future of the self-defense posture of Southern Cameroon. This is a new breath of Southern Cameroonians with equipment that is going to liberate them and to be able to be contender on the ground against a massive force of La République du Cameroon. We cannot continue with the same strategies of the last 2 years. We have to change strategy. This is the last hope of Ambazonia. Support the contenderhood and support it now if you want to see the liberation of the Southern Cameroons. Stop the joke, stop the child's play, and support the contender force. We cannot do the same thing again and again and expect different results. This is different. This one, our last hope for unite our people in a national projection that is going to liberate our territory and that is capable. We encourage all other organizations to continue to support the troops in the best way they can and to desist from doing sabotage and baseless propaganda and intimidation of our generals on the ground. Let them have their freedom to defend Ambazonia. Let the diaspora not become a problem, but let them enable and support the troops on the ground to defend themselves and desist from putting us against each other. May the revolution be short. May the independence of Ambazonia and freedom in Ambazonia reign forever.
Moi pas besoin galop, soutenez-moi du riz.